The criminal investigation into Dr. William Husel and the deaths at Mount Carmel continues. Pieces of a defense strategy are continuing to emerge.
NBC4 has learned Husel's lawyers are using a state law that provides limited immunity for doctors as part of their legal defense in one of those wrongful death lawsuits. In theory, that same law could be used to argue immunity in a criminal case.
NBC4's Ted Hart is taking a closer look at all this, at the immunity and how it might come into play, and I imagine there's an intent factor in all of this.
Exactly right. Well, in response to one of the lawsuits, Husel's attorneys did throw out a laundry list of possible defenses, but use of the state statute on immunity for physicians stood out. The law provides for immunity from civil liability and from criminal prosecution in certain cases.
The statute broadly gives immunity for a lot of things. For example, if you're following the orders or directive of a power of attorney, or if you are following reasonable medical care.
But OSU law professor Rick Simmons says the immunity law also applies to physicians giving medications to relieve pain during comfort care. But it specifies it cannot be for the purpose of hastening or causing death. Mount Carmel has said Dr. Husel prescribed excessive doses of pain medication for 35 patients, including 29 who received potentially fatal doses. Husel is the subject of a criminal investigation looking at the 29 deaths. To overcome a potential immunity defense, prosecutors would have to prove intent, that Husel ordered the drugs for the purpose of causing death.
In this case, I think it's possible, maybe likely, they'll find medical experts to say the amount of drugs that he gave was so high that he in fact did have the purpose of causing death in giving the drugs.
Medical records show Husel ordered fentanyl in conjunction with the patients being removed from life support. But the doses were 10 to 20 times what experts say would be standard for pain or comfort care. The patients died minutes later.
That's not appropriate. There is no immunity to that kind of effort.
Pharmacist Alan Nichols testifies as an expert in medical malpractice cases.
To be clear, treating with 400 or 600 or 800 or 1,000 micrograms of fentanyl is not treating for pain, really.
No, it is not.
And to be clear, while there are more than 20 civil lawsuits now filed against Mount Carmel and Dr. William Husel so far, there are no criminal charges. Local for you, Ted Hart, NBC4.